Shadows of the Crystal Tower. The Crystal Tower rose high above the land, its shimmering surface catching the light of the twin moons. It was said to be the heart of Elvoria, a kingdom known for its beauty and mystery. Yet, no one dared approach the tower, for it was surrounded by whispers of a terrible curse. In the village of Lorendal, nestled at the base of the mountains, 18-year-old Kael lived a quiet life as a carpenter's apprentice in Nantes. He had always been drawn to the Crystal Tower, its luminous presence a constant in his dreams. He felt a strange connection to it, though he couldn't explain why. His late mother had once told him, "The tower holds secrets that only the brave may uncover." One fateful evening, as the moons bathed the tower in silver light, Kael's dreams turned vivid. A voice echoed in his mind, soft and pleading. "Help me," it whispered. "The shadows grow stronger." Kael woke with a start, his heart pounding. He couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was calling out to him. The next day, Kael confided in his best friend, Lira, a sharp-witted herbalist with a penchant for adventure. "You're serious about this?" she asked, her green eyes narrowing. "The Crystal Tower isn't just a story, Kael. It's dangerous." "I know," Kael replied, "but I can't ignore it. Something is wrong, and I have to find out what." Reluctantly, Lira agreed to accompany him. Armed with her knowledge of herbs and his trusty carpenter's tools, they set out at dawn. As they approached the Crystal Tower, an unnatural stillness filled the air. The grass beneath their feet was brittle, and the trees surrounding the tower were twisted and blackened. The closer they got, the colder it became, until their breath formed clouds in front of them. At the tower's base, a massive crystal door stood ajar. It pulsed faintly with light, as though alive. Kael and Lira exchanged nervous glances before stepping inside. The interior was breathtaking. Walls of translucent crystal reflected their every move, creating a kaleidoscope of colors. But the beauty was marred by a creeping darkness that seemed to seep from the walls, curling like smoke. "This place feels alive," Lira whispered. Kael nodded. "And not in a good way." The voice from Kael's dreams returned, stronger now. "You've come," it said, filling the air with a mournful tone. "Please, hurry! The shadows are consuming me." Following the voice, they climbed a spiraling staircase that seemed to stretch endlessly upward. With each step, the shadows grew denser, their whispers growing louder and more insistent. At last, they reached the top. The room was dominated by a massive crystal throne, upon which sat a figure cloaked in shadow. The light from the walls dimmed, barely illuminating the figure's outline. "Who are you?" Kael demanded. The figure stirred. "I am Elvoria, last guardian of the Crystal Tower," it said, its voice a mix of sorrow and anger. "I was betrayed by those I trusted. My spirit is bound here, trapped by the darkness they unleashed." "How can we help?" Lira asked. Elvoria's shadowed form seemed to tremble. "The crystal at the tower's heart has been corrupted. Its light must be restored. But beware, the shadows will not relinquish their hold easily." Kael stepped forward, his resolve firm. "Tell us what we need to do." Elvoria directed them to the tower's heart, a chamber deep within its crystalline structure. The journey was harrowing. The shadows came alive, forming grotesque shapes that lashed out at them. Lira's knowledge of herbs proved invaluable, her concoctions repelling the darkness long enough for them to push forward. Finally, they reached the heart of the tower. A massive crystal floated in the center of the room, its light dim and flickering. Tendrils of shadow coiled around it, leeching its energy. "You must cleanse it," Elvoria's voice echoed. "Use the light within yourselves to drive out the darkness." Kael and Lira joined hands, focusing their energy on the crystal. Kael felt a warmth emanating from deep within him, a light he hadn't known he possessed. Together, they poured their combined strength into the crystal. The shadows writhed and screamed, their forms dissolving as the crystal's light grew brighter. With a final burst of energy, the darkness was expelled, leaving the crystal glowing with a pure, radiant light. As the light filled the chamber, Elvoria's form appeared, no longer shrouded in shadow. She was a striking figure, her silver hair flowing like a river of light. "You have done what I could not," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "The tower is whole again, and my spirit is free." "What happens now?" Kael asked. "The crystal tower will stand as a beacon of hope for Elvoria once more," Lira replied. "And you, Kael, are its new guardian." Kael's eyes widened. "Me? But I'm just a carpenter." Lira smiled. "You are more than you know. The light within you is strong. Trust in it, and you will protect this land as I once did." With that, Elvoria's form dissolved into light, merging with the crystal. The tower shone brighter than ever, its light visible for miles. Kael and Lira returned to Lorendal as heroes, though Kael knew his journey was only beginning. The crystal tower, once a place of fear, was now a symbol of hope, and Kael, its steadfast guardian,